Typically known for their work with Square Enix on the Star Ocean and Valkyrie Profile franchises, developer Tri-Ace teams up with Sega for Resonance of Fate. Flashy gunfights, flashier wardrobes, and a unique world map certainly help it stand out from other RPGs. But does it suffer from a case of style over substance?
We've got work.
Where to?
Resonance of Fate is set in a future where the planet has been ravaged by devastating climate changes, pushing humanity to the brink of extinction. Thanks to the miracle of science and convenient plot devices, mankind finds salvation in the form of a giant tower called Basil. Among the inhabitants of this mechanical marvel are the game's three heroes, an odd group of companions making ends meet by handling dirty jobs for their upper-class clientele. They each struggle with dark secrets in their pasts, which come to light, for better or worse, by the time the ending credits roll. Rather than focusing on a huge, sweeping story, Resonance of Fate is built around self-contained chapters with scant few connections between them. There are hints of a grander scheme in the cutscenes, but it doesn't come full circle until late in the game, and it's certainly not a driving factor in the story. This would be okay if the individual chapters stood fine on their own, but they aren't really very memorable.
How sad. It seems like such a waste.
Instead, the main draw is the story behind the three protagonists, and that's only marginally interesting enough to hold your attention until the end.
I'm used to being alone.
Sorry, did you say something?
If you're looking for a great story, in other words, you won't find one here.
Yeah, you're right. It's just a backdrop.
Backdrop for what?
Take a look.
Resonance of Fate is anything but ordinary. This is first apparent the moment you step out into the world map, which is built from colored hexagon spaces that you have to clear out in order to progress. Hidden beneath these hexes are towns, dungeons, locales, and treasure, but it's not just as simple as forging a path to your next destination. You can also influence the properties of hexes by utilizing neighboring terminals, which unlock attributes when enough similarly colored pieces are connected together. It plays out like a board game, and it also promotes exploration and gives a nice sense of freedom as a side effect. Your adventure is broken up into 16 chapters, each filled with various missions. There's always a primary mission that will advance the story, but there's no shortage of diversions to keep you busy.
Which one do you think we should take?
Completing missions will earn you loot, money, and improve your guild hunter rank. These side objectives are completely optional, but many are worthwhile excursions you'll want to undertake.
That's more delicate than glass, young lady.
Battles themselves are very challenging, especially the boss encounters, which truly push your limits. And just when you think you've figured out a general strategy that works well, the game will change it up and throw something completely unexpected your way, forcing you to dig deep to emerge victorious. The challenge can be brutal, and you'll often feel like you're on the cusp of throwing in the towel, but clearing these hurdles delivers a sense of accomplishment rarely experienced in games nowadays. Should you fall in battle, you have the option to retry for a small fee, and if you go completely broke, the game cuts you some slack.
Damn you! Damn you, woman!
It's not all work and no play, however. There's also a strong focus on character and weapon customization, which works as a good contrast to the game's more demanding elements. It's rare to see a Japanese RPG give you such a degree of freedom to express your personality, and it's easy to become a compulsive shopper trying to obtain the latest fashion for your trio. Though not quite as addicting, enhancing your weapons with upgrades is a more relevant hobby if you desire to make any headway. Attaching odds and ends to your guns in a puzzle-like manner is a fun way to liven up a typically boring, but essential task.
I at least learned to cook. I'm worthless in the kitchen.
Clearing the story takes about 35 to 40 hours if you stick to the bare-bones tasks, but it can easily spiral into 50 plus if you tackle the optional missions.
Enormous and insignificant at the same time.
The difficulty kicks up relatively early, and it doesn't exactly get that much easier once you've got a handle on the mechanics. Expect a real challenge from start to finish.
I don't think so!
Combat in Resonance of Fate is built around one of the most complex and advanced battle systems we've seen in an RPG. It's a hybrid of real-time combat and turn-based mechanics, though it's really unlike anything that's come before. You'll take control of up to 3 party members at any given time, taking turns with each as you attempt to clear out the area of opposing forces. You defeat enemies by charging up your weapon to fire off rounds from a stationary position or while in motion during what's called a hero action. Additionally, certain weapons deliver either temporary scratch damage that regenerates over time, or inflict direct damage, which is permanent. Enemies don't remain stationary when you're in motion, nor do they cut you a break when you're trying to lock onto a target. And though performing a hero action grants you immunity from enemy fire, expending all your hero tokens triggers a critical condition that puts your party in an extremely vulnerable state. You'll also lose tokens if one party member receives too much damage. To avoid entering your critical state, it's imperative to replenish your tokens by slaying an enemy or completely destroying a part of their body. Since you have to take into account all these factors, winning a battle requires a very high degree of strategy.
All I know is that we need to rid the place of some unwelcome guests.
In addition to individual tactics, you're also able to combine your party members' actions into one focused tri-attack when you've accumulated enough resonance points over the course of a battle. You earn resonance points by crossing paths with another member during a hero action, and doing this in succession earns additional points. If at any point you break from this sequence, you'll be penalized and lose resonance points.
Oh, no, I'm gonna...
When you have enough points, you can trigger the tri-attack and have all 3 characters continuously assault a target until your resonance count depletes. It can be tricky to coordinate an effective tri-attack, but successfully pulling it off can resolve a battle very quickly. There's an incredibly high learning curve to overcome, and getting adjusted to the battle system is very taxing in the early goings. But once you clear that hurdle, combat in Resonance of Fate is gratifying till the very end.
Yep, time for some spelunking.
Resonance of Fate's steampunk art style serves the game well, and the stark, dirty environments really set the atmosphere. The character designs give a slight sense of deja vu to anyone who's played Star Ocean: The Last Hope, but the ability to customize your appearance and have it reflect in real time, especially during cutscenes, is a welcome touch.
How about a makeover, Vacheron? Toughen you up a bit?
The combat sequences are also very cinematic in nature, with a keen focus on flashy acrobatics and dazzling maneuvers. There are several good performances from the cast as well. The delivery is typically spot on, despite some cheesy writing.
This one is for happiness. Eat this, Heavenly Star Punch!
Some of the sound effects and battle cries overstay their welcome, but the overall soundtrack is up to the task. It's clear that lots of thought and attention went into every facet of Resonance of Fate. It's a very challenging experience that will reward players with the desire and endurance to reach the end. That being said, the difficulty and complex battle system will definitely turn off those who aren't accustomed to a game that pushes back so often. If you're looking for an RPG that breaks the norm, Resonance of Fate deserves a look.